Hello again, everyone, and welcome to our latest webcast that we're bringing you from Travel Weekly. And I'm live at World Travel Market on the first day. It's the Monday, and I'm on the Qatar tourism stand, which, by the way, is amazing. And I'm joined by the Vice President of International Markets, Phil Dickinson. So welcome, Phil. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks, Lucy.
Yeah, it's a really exciting day, exciting time for Qatar. Obviously, the spotlight is on the country because of the World Cup that we have coming up, and you put a lot of investment into that for starters, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been a 12-year journey for the destination, a massive amount of investment to make sure that the country was going to be ready to host. We're expecting about 1.2 million visitors. So yeah, huge amount of infrastructural changes, brand new metro system, a lot of new hotels.
100, I think I heard say, 100
Hotels,
new hotels.
yeah, we moved from 23,000 keys to nearly 50,000. So,
Amazing.
but not just that, restaurants, attractions, new water parks, new theme parks, obviously adding to our fantastic cultural side as well with a new grand terminal that's going to have an art gallery in there and an aquarium. So it's just a lot of infrastructure, effectively a whole new city with Lusail as well. So it's amazing. It's all part of the Qatar 2030 vision.
Yeah.
So the 2030 vision is creating a country which is going to be a fantastic place for the locals and the residents to live. And that 2030 vision is all around sort of technology, innovation, medical, sport, and of course tourism is very much part of that as well.
Yeah, well, and very much around the economy, obviously, and sustainability. I think they were two of the key pillars for you. 'Cause you don't want this just to be, as we say, just for 4 weeks of the World Cup or something short term. This is a long term goal, isn't it?
It's a long term vision. As I said, Vision 2030. But I mean, I'm sure most people have read, but this is the most sustainable, most green World Cup ever. A carbon neutral World Cup with electric buses taking people to the stadiums, with basically the metro, obviously, that runs through electric as well. People not having to travel vast distances to get to the matches. Obviously, everything solar panelled. So part again of the 2030 vision is very much around sustainability moving forward.
Yeah, and in terms of numbers, I think you're targeting something like 6 million international visitors by 2030. Is that achievable? How are you going to do that?
Yeah, that's our strategy, and that's our goal. So we had 2.1 million visitors in 2019. That's what we're benchmarking ourselves against, and we're looking to 3x that to move to 6 or 7 visitors by 2030. And it's not just that, so it's also the economic impact. So basically, tourism contributed 6% to GDP in 2019, and we're looking to double that to 12% by 2030. And obviously job creation. We want to significantly, we'll double the amount of jobs that are created in the hospitality sector. So we'll have over 120,000 hospitality professionals working in Qatar. So it's not just is it an economic generator, but also a job creator as well for the country.
It sounds like the government really focusing on tourism as a key pillar for growth then.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we're definitely not wanting to move into any sort of a mass tourism space, but I think that because Qatar is sort of kept itself to a degree previously, but I think now with the readiness for the World Cup and with having all this additional inventory and all these fabulous new hotels that have opened up, and as I say, not just restaurants but attractions and malls and restaurants and water parks and things for people to see and do, I think it's perfect for us to be able to develop that tourism business. And of course, we've always been fabulously served by the world's best airline with Qatar Airways, flying to 150 destinations worldwide, and we've got this spectacular airport in Hamad International. So I just look at the numbers myself. I mean, if you look at it, is such a strong stopover destination anyway because of its geographical location. The number always resonates with me is 40 million passengers transited through Qatar.
Right. So you just need them to stay a bit longer.
I just need them to stay. So,
yeah.
We've launched a very attractive, in collaboration with Qatar Airways and Discover Qatar, the main inbound tour operator in Qatar. We've launched a very attractive stopover program starting at $14 per person per night to stop. We want to make it so attractive that why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And that's the hook. And then from key markets where we're very focused, like the UK, we want to get more of that point to point. We want to get people coming for vacation, basically, as well.
Okay. And you mentioned there that mass tourism is not what you're looking at. So is it more sort of luxury? Are you targeting families? Is it couples? What kind, who should travel agents watching this be thinking about when they're sort of trying to sell Qatar?
No, great question. I think, listen, we're not looking, we don't look so much at demographic, we look at what we call our demand spaces, so who would Qatar appeal to? We're absolutely very family focused because it's such a family friendly destination that it's easy to get around. There's so much you can see and do with the family, whether you're looking to do something actively out in the desert, or whether you're looking to canoe in the mangroves, whether you're looking to do any sort of water sports. Obviously, a big part of Qatar is the culture and the history and the authenticity. So we have world-class, unbelievable architecture and art installations throughout the country, but also the museums, the souk, the UNESCO heritage sites, the east-west installations out in the desert, the inland sea. So I think it's the demand spaces we're targeting is very much around family, active holidays, culture enthusiasts, romantic getaways, stopovers. So I think it's. Well, I'm not saying we're a one size fits all. I think if you want razzmatazz, that's not Qatar. But if you want to have a fantastic choice of hotels from boutique up to large resorts, and you want to have those choice of those different hotel options, but you also want to embrace and learn a little bit more about the culture and the history of the country as well. I think Qatar can tick all those boxes.
And do people come into Doha, and can they do that kind of holiday from Doha? You talked about the desert and the mangroves, or do they need to go and do Twin Centre? How does it work?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. We're a small country, it's a peninsula, so I mean you're literally 110 kilometres from one end, from north to south, so about 60 kilometres wide. So the great thing with Qatar is everything is very easy. So you could literally be, lying by the pool 1 minute, and 45, 50 minutes later you could be on it doing a, wadi bashing, or going up and down a dune on a 4x4, or you could be sand skiing, or paragliding, or hot air ballooning. So I think everything's accessible. You don't have to travel large distances, which I think is one of our USPs. And as I said, even getting to these fabulous museums, which are really educational for kids, and very interesting, obviously, for the parents as well. So and again, they're just going to be a 15-20 minute journey from any of the hotels in the West Bay or then.
Brilliant. And you've got a number of campaigns that you're bringing out. I think maybe at the end of this week even we've got some very ones coming up.
Yeah, so we launched, as you know, our first iteration of our global campaign, which was our Experience the World Beyond, which we broke all records in terms of the amount of views we got, because we involved these characters and we brought the destination to life. With the second iteration of that is what we call our Feel More campaign, because we think that's the attraction and the uniqueness of Qatar. Is the essence of the warmth of the people, the steeped in history, how you can really sort of get to learn and authentic parts of the destination. So the Feel More campaign will be breaking soon. We're just finalising all the aspects. We've done a huge amount of really exciting shooting, helicopter shoots, and some fabulous cinematography going on in the destination. So that will launch soon in our core markets, of which UK is one. So we'll be doing everything from TV, digital, out of home, print, and then simultaneously, because we want to capture the excitement of the World Cup, we're also launching a campaign using Pirlo, the famous Italian footballer. Of course, we did that for a reason, because Italy didn't qualify for the World Cup. So that campaign's around. No football, no worries. So, and we're using Pirlo in a really fun way. So, for example, he's getting off a coach as if he's going to a football match, and then he's walking into the museum, or he's out sweating, looks like he's on the training pitch, and then he's actually sand skiing in the desert. So we're sort of putting a different start to showcase the destination. Yeah. So, we know, there's going to be 5 billion people watching the World Cup. So, but generally, of course, they're going to be watching these spectacular pitches. And 22 people running around on a football pitch. So we want to make sure that people get to see and think about what else there is to see and do in Qatar, even if they're watching from their homes in the UK.
Yeah, I think the thing is, it's probably not a destination many people have been to, particularly our audience with travel agents. And so I think that education piece, even what you've said today, I've learned something. So I think that's a big thing for you, isn't it? Educating the trade. So when you've got these campaigns coming out. How are you going to make sure that you're supporting the trade behind
Yeah,
that?
no, absolutely. So we've been working really hard with myself and my team. Obviously, we have a rep office here in the UK, and we also have them in 15 other countries as well. So we have PR agencies in all the key markets too. So the role of our rep office and my team also in Qatar is to really outreach as much as we can with the travel trade. So whether that's obviously promoting the Qatar Specialist Program, whether that's hosting as many fam trips as we can, whether that's doing trainings, but we're also working really closely with the main tour operators and consortia groups, home working groups to do partnership deals with them. So we're offering up marketing funds. We're doing performance-based deals to say, hey, you give us some passengers, we'll give you some targets. We can pay incentives to those tour operators to drive more business. So we're very focused on the trade. I mean, the role specifically of Black Diamond, our representation office here in the UK, is trade focused.
Yeah.
I mean, I know some other rep offices perhaps do a bit of everything, bit of PR, bit of consumer marketing, bit of trade. We said no, we want them just purely to be focused on the travel trade because we know how important they are. We know how many bookings come through the travel trade.
And are you seeing an increase?
No, we are. Yeah, our challenge was more around. It was a bit stop-start. The country's always had a very cautious approach to COVID. So unfortunately, we did open back in November, and then we closed again with the Omicron, and we didn't reopen until the end of February. So we were a bit flip-flopping, a bit stop-start, which understandably the trade will think, well, okay.
They don't want to sell if they're not sure you're
Correct.
going to be open.
Yeah.
But now it's all...
The great news now, Lucy, which I'm probably one of the most exciting things, is now we've dropped like a lot of countries are, we've dropped the necessity for any sort of vaccinations prior to coming to Qatar. You now don't even have to get the pre-approval on we had an app, obviously an Atera's app, which again was causing a few challenges with people getting the approvals.
It's just an obstacle when...
So we don't have the barriers now. And then, of course, the other issue was that the travel trade knew that effectively Qatar was off limits for a general tourist perspective for the months of the World Cup. And that's the peak season for the destination. So we our job to do and where we want to hit the ground running is post World Cup. I mean, the World Cup, there'll be a lot of interest and a lot of eyeballs on Qatar, but we want to move
further ahead, aren't you, for the next season? You want agents to be selling that now.
And we'll upweight our camp. Whether it's with trade media, whether it's with the tour operators, so the consortiums, the home workers, anything we can do to work with the trade. We're open for suggestions as well. But we want to be a good a good destination partner. We want to get as many. I didn't say no to any. In fact, we did. I think we had over 1,200. Arrivals down in travel trade arrivals, and a lot of that was our investment. And a lot of those were, from everything from the decision makers on product and CEOs and general managers to get them to build the product into their programs to the frontline sellers, to the people that will sell it. So we're having a whole. Let's make sure you've got product on the shelf. Let's introduce you to the stakeholders, to the hotels, to the DMCs, to the attractions. Let's make sure we support you to build those packages and incentivize you to do that and give you the marketing dollars you need to promote to your agents or your databases. And as I said, and I think the next tranche for us is now we're confident we've got a lot of Qatar on sale, is to make sure that we get the sellers down as well, so they can get excited.
And you mentioned the specialist program. Of course, we've got a very exciting thing happening at the moment together. Travel Weekly and Qatar Tourism, also supported by Qatar Airways, around the World Cup. It's really a bit of fun, and we've just done the draw. So agents will know. We've got 32 agents who are going to be supporting one of the teams that are going to be in the World Cup. But there's a message behind it. It's going to be a bit of fun, and one agent ultimately will win a fantastic holiday to Qatar. Thank you very much. That's going to be amazing. But they had to do your training to be in the running, and that's the important thing, because knowledge is everything, isn't it? If they can do this training, and there's so much on your training platform, isn't there?
No, there is. I mean, we built that. That's our own intuitive system. We did that ourselves. It's not a third-party platform. It's our own. We got a company in, and we invested heavily into that. And just so you know, there are actually other modules through the Qatar Specialist Program. There is other training. Sales training. There's all sorts of other modules that the agents can have a look at. But we didn't just do that for the travel trade. Yes, that a heavy part of those modules was targeted at our sellers from around the world, the travel trade community. But we've actually got a lot of modules for the different. We've got a tour guide module, we've got a taxi driver module, we've even got an immigration officer module, because we want everybody to buy into the tourism journey, and we want to make. We know they're coming in on a fabulous airline. We know they're arriving into a fabulous airport, but let's make sure that customer journey is consistent throughout. So we've been doing training for over 50,000 hospitality professionals in Qatar with different modules which they can complete. And imagine that. So if you're recognising, an Uber driver or a local government taxi driver with a certificate and bonuses and things like that because he's completed that, but also these people are ambassadors for the destination.
Yeah.
So I think those things are really, really important. So we've put a lot of emphasis on we have a whole department, service excellence, that looks at that whole customer journey.
Yeah, and it's
Qatar.
worth doing. You get the certificate if you're an agent and you do some of these modules, but you also get priority access to FAMs and incentives and things. So, it's a new destination that you should really want to learn about, but there's some benefits in there as well.
Yeah, definitely.
The training.
We want to create that community. We want to work with yourselves as Travel Weekly to see how can we upweight, how can we be relevant, how can we be supportive of the travel trade. We know how important it is. We know that the travel trade, the travel agencies drive the interest, they can convert a customer. We want to see how we can support that.
Okay, well, you sound like you're doing a lot already. We wish you all the best
Thank
for
you, Lucy.
The World Cup, obviously, but beyond that, for your vision, your 2030 vision, and we wish you all the best, and we'll help you all we can. So, thank you very much to Phil.
Thank you for the opportunity.